What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video, another day, another dollar with your boy. We're going to be breaking down the futures contract today. We got a lot to discuss, a lot to talk about, as it was a rather eventful day. ES opened up inside the previous day's range, below the 11Y point of control, but held the afternoon pullback low from yesterday at 48.0825. In yesterday's video, I was discussing about how that was a key level, as it was for three time frames. Actually, we had lows right there at 48.0825, which also happened to be the previous all-time high that we set back in January of 2022. So it was key that buyers held that, right? If they didn't hold the price probe that we did, that we created yesterday at 48.17, you definitely wanted to see buyers hold 48.0825. In yesterday's video, I discussed about how if we got below that, we would potentially come back into a balance by getting the day's low. Well, we got that and then some. We continued to push down in K period after getting the low there, and after breaking that 48.0825 level, getting below the 4800 level, getting the daily low, and we just kind of continued to liquidate all the way down to the 9Y point of control and continued to push down even later into the day. We took out 1, 2, 3, 4 daily lows, or excuse me, just 3 daily lows. Hit all of our downside destinations I gave in yesterday's video, but was not expecting that after the way we pushed up this morning. Was not expecting a liquidation break of any magnitude today. Was seeing positive signs that this bull market was still relentless, right? The bid was still, in the market. We held that afternoon pullback low early in the morning, got the 11Y point of control, pushed up, got the high of day, got the overnight high. We were trend. In B period, we had the lowest accepted price. So that's when A period closes. The next 30-minute time frame opens up, and we pushed up immediately. Not much of a pullback there at all from when it opened. It pulled back a tick and then exploded to the upside, creating a set of single prints. We got 7 wide up here, attempted to go trend. And just before noon, we attempted to go trend, couldn't really hold it, came in. And then once we got back into the day's range, the previous day's range, and couldn't get back to that point of control, that was kind of a telltale sign, a little bit of a nuance that maybe things are starting to change from the buy side, as we did set our all-time high up here at 48.3075. Consolidated above the previous day's high, but once we got back into the range and couldn't get back to that 7Y point of control right there at 48.2250, or excuse me, not 48.2250, 48.23. Once we couldn't get back to that price in J period, a little bit of a nuance. And then not only did we do that, we came down, we took out what was our lowest accepted price. We had filled the set of single prints, so trend had gone away. So things were starting to change. So what are some destinations on the downside if we do start to one time frame down, right? We had stopped it up here. We began one time framing down, and the next time frame opens up in K period, takes out that low, and immediately, just in a quick fashion, pushes down, gets that afternoon pullback low. Now, in this morning, I was just bullshitting when I said 4,800. If we got below that, we would come back into a balance. Initially, well, we did that. Filled the gap down here on the downside, got that 9Y point of control from the 15th at 47.7125, continued to drive down, creating sets of single prints on the way down, putting ourselves back into an initial 5-day balance. I wasn't involved in any of this. Obviously, in yesterday's video, I stated that I will not be trading until the new year. And honestly, I'm kind of thankful that I didn't, because I might have looked to have gotten long here around the single print fill, and then may have held this until the opening on the pullback. If I didn't get paid right away, I may have taken a pretty big loss down here at the open, which was 6 points worth of risk to the downside when you were looking to come back to the point of control up here at 23, right? So not a great risk reward trade there, but that's probably where I would have been involved. And then that would have just shot my confidence getting out there for a loss. And then once we took out our low here at 48.08 and got the overnight low, maybe I would have gotten involved on the short side, but it would have been hard for me to considering everything over the last several days, we've been one time framing up for several weeks in a row. We're one time framing up on the monthly, and on the daily, we were one time framing up at the time. And then we stopped that trend up at 47.96. Once we broke that low, we come back into a balance. Now, our balance was forming on the way down. We are in a 5-day balance. We're going to use the 14th low down here at 47.4625. If we take that out tomorrow, we will be one time framing down, and then your next downside destinations are going to be the single print fill at 47.3475, single prints that start at 47.27, and they fill at 47.0875. It's a good and it's not a bad thing that the market decided to pull back. However, there were a lot of accounts that blown up today. There were a lot of people that got hurt, obviously trying to buy this on the way down. And, initially they weren't wrong, but knowing where points of control were and the nuance behind not getting that back to that point of control up here, after getting back into the previous day's range, kind of was a telltale sign that maybe this market will begin to roll over. Definitely weren't thinking of this magnitude, but it definitely helps to know these types of things. Whenever it does happen, you can kind of protect yourself against massive losses, which I'm sure a lot of people had today. So let's go ahead and mark our destinations. This is in period, so it doesn't count taking out that low down there. So let's go ahead and mark our high day up here at 48.3075, which is our all-time high now. 48.3075. All-time high. It's absolutely wild that we set an all-time high and then came in the way that we did. Dang it, I hit the exit or the escape button. But came in the way that we did. It's just, some size definitely got off up there, especially once we took out that lowest accepted price. People, that weren't aware of that, and then those that are smart, big traders that do look at the profile or, just other indicators, they definitely began to liquidate some of their positions prior to this push down, which I think caused, there wasn't enough bid. It was low volume all day. And then once that supply hits the line there, once the supply hits that DOM and there's nobody to absorb it, that's when the floor falls out from beneath you. And then you definitely don't want to be trying to catch a knife on the way down. So, single prints single prints fill here at 48.0850. 48.0850. Be a very interesting spot if we ever do come back to that area, if we get back above it, because that is just a tick above where our previous all-time high is located. Now, our all-time high was set today at 48.3075, but once again, it will be interesting because that was an area where we had 3 time frames, right? 3 time frames hold there, continue to move higher, and then today we held that after the open, and then we pretty much liquidated even harder once we got below it. So there are a lot of trapped buyers up here, right? This whole area here was people that got trapped on the buy side. Obviously, if we ever come back near that, that would act as some type of resistance, I would assume. Very large set of single prints here, roughly 25 points worth of single prints. They start at 82.75, right? Yeah, 82.75 is where the single prints start, and they fill at 48.0850. So single print start here. That's this liquidation was Santa Claus, liquidating so he could pay for the gas for his sled, right? or to feed his reindeer. He needed the money, so he liquidated his position to feed to feed so much for the Santa Claus rally, right? He pumped it up. Now he's dumping it so he can get his money and feed his reindeer before he goes on his journey. Oh goodness. You got to make a story for it, right? It's that time of year. You got to keep things interesting. All right, single prints fill here. We have another set. So we go out with a, what is this? We got back-to-back single prints. So a double distribution. Just single print. Yeah, back-to-back distributions. So, or excuse me, single print. So we have a double distribution. Yeah, from 72 down to 48. So that is your lower distribution, your upper distribution, 48.0850 to 48.3075. So sorry, jumping all over the place here, but just noticed that it is a double distribution day. All that volume and inventory up at the top there got distributed down here towards the lows, is how you look at that. All right, single prints fill there at 73.75. They start at 72.25. Mark that. And you definitely want to have these on your chart, right? You want to know where, if we do push up into this area, where they fill and where the next set begins, because this area we could either pack in a lot of volume in this area where we didn't really do a whole lot on the way down, or it get filled really quickly, or lastly, we'll push up near it and then it'll continue to act as some type of resistance because all these people up here are like, oh, we're coming back near where I was long. Let me get out of my position if they are still somebody that is holding. All right. And lastly, we have, or not lastly, but we have our price probe here at 47.61. So sellers want to open below this level here at 61 price probe. So yesterday we went out with a price probe to the upside. Today we're going out with a price probe to the downside. And then we have today's low of day down here at 48. So for the first time in a long time, we are back to balance on the daily, and we'll update our larger time frames here in just a second. We'll go over all that as soon as we review our destinations here on the upside and on the downside for our 30-minute time frame. I need to make that green. Okay, so we are in a 5-day balance, okay? Using the 14th low at 47, 46, 25. We take that out. We will be one time framing down on the daily, and the trend is starting to change. Your downside destinations are going to be as follows. Single print fill, 47, 34, 75. Next set of single prints start at 47, 27. And they fill at 47, 08, 75. Lower distribution is down here, right? So it is going to be key for buyers to hold this upper distribution from the 14th or from the 13th, okay, where I'm highlighting. That was the upper distribution from the 13th, where we held on the 14th, which continued to drive this market up higher. It will be key for the market to hold above 47.37.25. If they do not hold above 47.37.25, this market will continue to liquidate down and get to this lower distribution down here, where it's at 47.0875 to 46.9675. So basically, we'll have a retest of the 4,700 level and see how strong the buyers really are. So be a key area basically to hold between 47.46 and 47.37. Okay, get below that, you will go down into that lower distribution. All right. And for the upside, sellers want to hold 47.61. If we get that, you'll test the upper portion of the lower distribution. Okay, lower distribution is what I'm about to highlight from today. Okay, what I'm highlighting today is the lower distribution, 72.25 to 48. That is our lower distribution. Your upper distribution is up here that I'm highlighting. Okay, so it's a double distribution day. Such a weird word to say. If you don't believe me, try saying it yourself, unless you're just somebody that speaks perfect English. So you have single prints that start at 72.25. They fill at 73.75. Next set starts at 47.82.75. Those fill at 48.0850. Be a very, very key area for the sellers to hold below if they want to continue to push this market lower. We get back above that, you will go and trade up around the 48.23 and then get the all-time high at 48.30.75. But I don't see that happening before the end of the year, to be honest with you, as we'll probably most likely chop around that 4,800 level, as you know, it is pretty much key that we want to find acceptance above that 4,800. Okay. I believe a couple of days ago I was talking about how we definitely needed to try to do some volume between that 4708 75 level and 4727 level, because we didn't really spend much time there on the way up. So we'd like to see acceptance above the 4700 level by having some type of consolidation. Maybe we get that over the next couple of days. All right. Now let's go ahead and look at the larger time frame, update our balance for the daily, just briefly, so we understand everything in the bigger context. Here we are on the monthly. We just set our all-time high at 48.3075. We are back below January's all-time high from 2022 at 48.0825. So once again, we want to find acceptance above the 4,700 level, and then the 4,800 level we want to find acceptance above. Right now, since we're on the way down, 4,700 level will be the more key component as far as the bigger picture in the monthly. Weekly, okay, weekly, still one time framing up. All right. In Friday's video on my live stream that I was talking about how, you know, I went back through and did a couple of little analysis on how long some of these runs to the upside could potentially be. Some of them, or most of them, have been between 6 and 9 weeks. We are on our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We are on our 8th week to the upside. One time framing up continuously. With that being said, I also did a measurement. It was like some 15% to 20% from when we set our recent low. So 15 to 20% on the upside, and we're right around 17% today. So just keep an eye out for that. Historically, from what I had seen on when I went back and looked through the weekly chart, it was 6 to 9 weeks, 15 to 20%, and then we ended up having a bit of a pullback and got back into a balance on the weekly from that standpoint. So just keep in mind that is potential in the near future. All right, now let's go ahead and look at the daily. Daily, we are back to a balance. We haven't been in a balance since we came back into balance on the 30th of November. So we broke out of that balance on the 7th or the 8th of December, and we haven't looked back. Now we're back into a balance. Using the 14th low here is going to be our balance low. So we'll go ahead and give this thing an update of where our balance high is and where our balance low is. So 48.30.25 is our balance high. Now our balance low, or is it 25? 75, excuse me, 75, not 25. 75 is our balance high. Balance low is going to be, what was it? I want to make sure I have it 100% correct, because the continuous doesn't show the true low here. 47, 46, 25. 46, 25 is our balance low. 46, 25 is our balance low on the daily. Guess I can get rid of that. 47, 46, 25. Balance low. So there we have it, folks. There is our 5-day balance. All right. We take out this low here, 46.25, and get below that key area that I was talking about at 47.37. You will go and test that lower distribution that I highlighted, okay, around the 47.08 level. We will go down and test that level, and then ultimately continue to push down until we get that day, that low day. If sellers are really going to start to step in here, this is just the first step of many for sellers to, kind of start to put on some positions if there are any bears left in this market. Not really looking for that because of the bigger time frame, such as the monthly and the weekly being up. However, it is a possibility that we get a little bit more of a pullback on the daily, potentially come back into the 20-day moving average, which sits around the 46 46.75 level, and we do have a gap from the premium as well that is on the downside right in that area around the 4600. I'm not looking for that. I think this market is still strong. I think this market is, I mean, obviously we've been pushing up pretty well here since the lows, but it is healthy for us to have a bit of a pullback on the daily before we continue to grind up higher. And I think ultimately maybe consolidate above that 4,700 level, and then move up higher once again above the 4,800 level and find acceptance above that. So with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all have a wonderful day. I'll catch you guys in the next couple of days. I probably won't post anything tomorrow. I'll most likely make a video Friday. And if I don't make a video Friday, then I hope you all have a wonderful Christmas. Have a safe travels, and Happy New Year as well. We'll catch you guys later. See ya.